Picture the scene at a training ground. The mist is hanging low over the pitches, the cameras are packed away, and the training session has wound down. It is that peculiar time of year, late January, where every single phone call feels like it could change the destiny of a football club. We are looking at a manager who isn't pacing the corridors or shouting down the phone lines in a panic. Instead, imagine a figure of absolute composure, standing amidst the whirlwind of rumours. The clock is ticking down relentlessly on the transfer window. The noise from the outside world is reaching a fever pitch. But inside the walls of the club, something very different is happening. There is a sense of calculation, a sense of quiet confidence. While the rest of the championship is scrambling, throwing money at walls, hoping something sticks, we are seeing a different picture emerge from North Wales. It is intriguing, isn't it? The silence can be just as loud as the noise. We are waiting for that white smoke, that signature on the dotted line, but what we are getting instead is a message that might just surprise you. It's not about desperation, it's about strategy. And that, my friends, is where the real story lies today.
We need to talk about what Phil Parkinson has actually said. Because in the world of football, the words a manager chooses, specifically during the final days of a window, are never accidental. They are curated, they are deliberate. Speaking ahead of what is going to be a massive clash against Sheffield Wednesday, the gaffer has dropped an update that changes the temperature of the room entirely. He has come out and admitted that while talks are happening, while negotiations are active, any new face walking through those doors at the racecourse is now considered a bonus. Let that sink in for a moment. A bonus. He stated quite clearly that he would be happy, genuinely pleased with the squad at his disposal if the window slammed shut right now without another soul entering the building. Now, for the Red Dragons faithful, for those of us refreshing our feeds every 30 seconds expecting a Hollywood-style reveal, this might feel like a bucket of cold water. But is it? Or is it the mark of a manager who knows exactly what he has in the locker room? Parkinson said, and I quote, "If someone comes in, it'll be a bonus. There's certain players out there we're looking at, and negotiations sometimes take longer than you'd ideally like for several different reasons." That phrase right there, several different reasons, is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It speaks to the complexity of where Wrexham is right now. We aren't just a National League side throwing money around anymore. We are operating in a market where value is hard to find and where clubs see us coming a mile off. The gaffer is managing expectations, yes, but he is also backing his current crop. He's telling the world that we are not desperate. We are not going to be held to ransom. It is a poker face, certainly, but it is backed by a very strong hand given where we sit in the table.
Now let's get into the specifics, because the names floating around are not just random generators. They tell a story of what we are looking for. The links to Barnsley, Davis, Keillor-Dunn have refused to go away. This is a fascinating one for me because it bridges the gap between the old Wrexham and this new stratospheric era we find ourselves in. We know Davis. He had that brief spell at the racecourse back in 2020. He knows what this badge represents, even if the club he played for then is almost unrecognisable from the juggernaut we are today. Keillor-Dunn has been doing the business at Barnsley. He's a frontman with an eye for goal, someone who can create something out of nothing. But bringing him back, that is a move that divides opinion. On one hand, you have a player who understands the DNA of the club, someone who wouldn't need 6 months to learn what it means to play for this community. On the other hand, is he the elevation we need for a championship playoff push? Parkinson admits players are always linked with us, and he's right. Agents use the Wrexham name to drive up prices. That is just the reality of having Hollywood owners. But this link feels more substantial. It feels like a tactical option. If we are looking for depth, for someone to come in and challenge the forward line without demanding to start every single game immediately, a profile like Keillor-Dunn makes sense. However, the fact that this hasn't been wrapped up yet suggests that the valuation or the role is a sticking point. Parkinson isn't going to overpay for nostalgia. He's ruthless in his pursuit of value. If Keillor-Dunn comes in, it has to be because he improves the squad now, not because he played here 4 years ago. The sentimentality is gone. This is about cold, hard points on the board.
Then we have the other side of the coin, the link that shows just how high our stock has risen. Sidiki Cherif, the Angers striker, a player plying his trade in France, a young talent that is allegedly being chased by Crystal Palace. Just pause and think about that sentence. Wrexham AFC and Crystal Palace looking at the same player. A Premier League side and us battling for the same signature. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the trajectory of this club, I don't know what will. But this is where Parkinson's caution becomes vital. When you are fishing in the same pond as Premier League sharks, negotiations take longer. That is the different reasons Parkinson alluded to. We can offer a project, we can offer the limelight, we can offer the magic of the racecourse, but we are still competing with the financial structures of the top flight. If this deal falls through, or if it doesn't happen in this window, it isn't a failure. It's a sign of the level of due diligence the club is doing. We aren't just looking for journeymen to plug a gap, we are looking for assets. We are looking for the future. Parkinson knows that bringing in a player from France requires adaptation time. It requires patience. Is that what we need right now, in the heat of a promotion battle? Perhaps that is why he calls it a bonus. If we get a talent like Cherif, brilliant, it's a coup. But if we don't, we haven't mortgaged our immediate future on a gamble. It shows a maturity in the recruitment department that we should all be applauding. We are ambitious, yes, but we are not reckless.
The most telling part of Parkinson's update wasn't about who's coming in, but about who's already here. He spoke about bracing the lads we've got, particularly the ones who've been out for a while who come back in. This is the classic manager trope of the like a new signing returning from injury, but in Wrexham's case, it is actually statistically true. Look at what happened at Loftus Road. That 3-2 comeback win against QPR wasn't just 3 points, it was a statement of character. We were down, we were out, and the squad dug deep. They found a way. That performance must have solidified Parkinson's belief in this group. When you see that kind of fight, that refusal to die, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to disrupt this chemistry by bringing in 3 or 4 new faces right at the death? The dressing room harmony at Wrexham has been our superpower. From the National League to the Championship playoff places, it has been built on a band of brothers mentality. Parkinson is fiercely protective of that. He knows that throwing a mercenary into that mix could be toxic. By publicly stating he is happy with what he has, he's sending a massive vote of confidence to the players who just ran through brick walls for him against QPR. He's telling them, I trust you, you were good enough. That psychological boost can be worth more than any £5 million striker. The return of injured players gives us fresh legs without the baggage of integration. It maintains the continuity. It keeps the DNA pure.
There is another aspect to this update that often gets overlooked by fans clamouring for signings, the exits. Parkinson explicitly said, we've been focusing on streamlining the squad and that work is ongoing. This is the unsexy side of football management, but it is absolutely critical. You cannot carry a bloated squad in a championship. You have registration limits. You have financial fair play considerations. You have the morale issue of having 6 or 7 senior pros sitting in the stands every Saturday, collecting wages but not contributing. That breeds resentment. Parkinson is doing the housekeeping. He is trimming the fat. Getting the numbers right isn't just about addition, it's about subtraction. This ongoing work likely means loans out for younger lads who need minutes, or permanent departures for those who served us well in League 2 or the National League, but have hit their ceiling. It is ruthless, but it is necessary. Every player leaving frees up a wage slot, frees up a locker, and tightens the circle. It means every player in training on Monday morning feels like they have a genuine shot at making the team sheet. That competitive tension drives performance. If Parkinson is spending as much time on outgoings as ingoings, it shows he is looking at the long-term health of the squad, not just a quick fix. He is building a machine that runs efficiently, not a circus.
All of this transfer talk is set against a backdrop of a massive game on Saturday, Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. Now, look at the table. They are bottom. We are in the playoff places. On paper, this looks like a game we should be eyeing up for 3 points. But Phil Parkinson has been around the block too many times to fall for that. Sheffield Wednesday are fighting for their lives. Hillsborough is one of the most hostile, historic and difficult grounds to visit in English football when the crowd gets up. They are desperate, and a desperate team is a dangerous team. Parkinson's update is calculated to take the pressure off his players before this game. By saying, "We are happy with what we've got," he removes the excuse of "we are waiting for reinforcements." He is telling the squad that they are the ones who have to go to Sheffield and get a result. There is no cavalry coming over the hill to save them in the 90th minute. It puts the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of the men who beat QPR. It is a psychological masterstroke. If we go there distracted by transfer rumours, we will get turned over. Parkinson is focusing minds. The transfer window is a sideshow. The main event is the 90 minutes on the grass. We need a clean sheet mentality. We need to be solid, organised and clinical. That doesn't come from a new signing who arrived yesterday. That comes from the work done on the training pitch over the last 6 months.
So, where does this leave us? The window is closing, the clock is ticking. The gaffer has told us that new signings are a bonus, not a necessity. He has told us that negotiations are tough, but the squad is strong. It is easy to get swept up in the hysteria. It is easy to look at our rivals spending millions and feel like we are standing still. But look at the table. Look at the trajectory. Standing still, we are flying. We are defying gravity. This club is built on a connection between the fans, the owners and the management. That connection is fueled by trust. Phil Parkinson has earned that trust 1,000 times over. If he says he is happy with the squad, then we back the squad. If he says he is willing to wait for the right player rather than panic buy the wrong one, we back his judgment. The Hollywood tag suggests drama, but the reality of Wrexham's success has been built on pragmatic, sensible, hard-nosed football decisions. We might see a face come through the door in the final hours. We might see Keillor-Dunn holding the shirt. We might see a surprise from France. Or we might see nothing at all. And if that happens, we march on. We march on with a squad that fights for the badge, a manager who knows the league inside out, and a fan base that is living the dream. The transfer window is just noise. The reality is on the pitch. And frankly, looking at what we've got, I think we're going to be just fine.